At the beginning of this year, I started developing a new resource. A resource for those who wanted to merge their interest and experience in any given topic with their interest and experience in sketchnoting to create a learning resource for others, to build an online course, using Sketchnotes as a tool to help develop and deliver that course. Today, as we near the end of the year, I would like to share an update on how that resource is coming together. There are 3 parts to this update. First, I'll share a little bit more about what this resource is all about. Then I'll share where we are now, the set of resources that are currently available, and finally I'll share where we're going next. First up, what is this thing that I've been working on all year? What I'm hoping to do with this resource is help you go all the way from the early stages of having an idea about a course that you'd like to make, helping you move from that stage all the way along to the point where you have a course that you can deliver to those who can't wait to unwrap it and dig in. And throughout that entire process, sharing the role that Sketchnotes can play. First in the planning and the development of your course, the initial brainstorming and organizing of what it is that you'd like to teach. And from there, moving on to the creation of the instructional materials, developing those in a visual way to make the learning process a bit smoother. And then the next step of publishing and promoting the thing that you've made. There are many steps to that whole process, many challenges that you'll encounter along the way. And what I want to do is help you move through those steps and address those challenges one at a time at your own pace, so that rather than being stuck with just an idea for a learning resource that you'd like to make, you can instead take those steps to make a course that you're proud of, a course that has a positive impact on those you hope to serve. So with that as the idea behind this resource, let me next address that question of where we are now, what we've made to date. I approach the development of this resource a little bit differently than the past courses that I've created here at Verbal to Visual. For this one, I developed the initial set of resources and delivered them live in a webinar workshop setting with 3 friends of mine, Joy, Raven, and Paul, each of whom have some experience with sketchnoting and want to create their own course with their sketchnoting skills. So starting in the first half of 2018, we began meeting in weekly webinars that were also recorded. The first 12 of those weekly webinars consisted of me providing some instruction, outlining all of the steps involved in creating a course, sharing all of the lessons that I've learned via the half a dozen courses that I've created, and addressing whatever questions come up along the way. For me, that was a really fun way to teach this material for the first time. It took me back to my high school teaching days when you have the ability to have real-time interaction around a set of ideas that you're sharing. And the conversations that took place within those webinars were very insightful and informative. And I'm glad that we recorded them so that I can go back and look at those conversations, and also so that you can do the same. After those 12 weeks of instructional webinars, we then transitioned into weekly check-ins, an opportunity for each of us to share the progress that we had made on the course that we were working on, and also address any challenges that came up for us that past week. Because often it's not until the rubber hits the road when you actually realize what are the most difficult things about a particular project that you're taking on. In this case, the project of creating an actionable resource that helps others go through some particular transformation. It is within those 12 weeks of instructional webinars and then the weekly check-ins that followed that you'll get to see me talk about the first course that I created this year, Learn a New Language with Sketchnotes. That's the course that I was developing throughout all of these webinars, alongside Joy, who was developing a creative guidebook for folks participating in NaNoWriMo, and Raven, who was developing a course to help folks take the first step from being a wantrepreneur to to an entrepreneur. And Paul, who's teaching left-handed calligraphy. By following along with our process throughout this past year, watching those many hours of conversations that we had, you'll get to see what it really looks like to build this type of resource. It's not a resource that you can create overnight, but it is something that with regular effort you can create. And I think what I can provide here with the help of Joy, Raven, and Paul is a way to avoid some of the pitfalls and identify the questions that you'll have to answer for yourself and how to go about answering those questions. So for those who have already picked up this resource, Build an Online Course with Sketchnotes, those recorded live webinar workshops are now all available for you to view. You can watch all 12 weeks of instruction and then also follow along with our weekly check-ins. But we're not stopping there. Here's where we're going next. What I am now in the process of doing is reviewing all of those live workshops, taking into account the feedback that I got from Joy, Raven, and Paul along the way, and creating a more polished learning experience. So I'm revisiting and refining all of the initial lessons, taking those 12 weeks of instruction, reformatting them a bit into what looks like will be a 5-unit course, and for each of those 5 units, creating new Sketchnote videos that have the same style as what you see here, so that I can present those lessons in a succinct, engaging, and memorable way. In addition to those Sketchnote video lessons, I'm also developing printable resources to help you take action in response to each of those lessons. Because we all know how easy it is to just watch a bunch of video lessons without doing the follow-up work that's actually going to give us some momentum. I want to give you a little bit of a kickstart to get that momentum going. And that's what I think these Sketchnote video lessons and follow-up activities will provide. I will be releasing that polished learning experience in February of 2019. And if you're interested in digging into that experience, then now's a good time to sign up. Because once all of those video lessons and printable activities are up, the price of this resource will double. So now's a good time to pick it up at that launch price, start checking out those live webinar workshops so that you can begin to develop your own ideas, and then you'll be in a really good place when those final lessons come out. To sign up for this resource, check out the links below this video. Thanks for following along. I hope you enjoy watching the journey that the 4 of us went through this past year, and I can't wait to see the transformative resource that you will create for others. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you again next time. Until then.